Well, folks, let me ask you, do you ever ponder whether or not you could afford Swarovski? How about a nice, sharp Bino from Swarovski for maybe as low as $200? If you want to buy them new, it's going to hurt you unless you're rich. They don't market them here anymore in the United States, but you can get them. And from what I've seen, it's about $1,300 to $1,400 for a little 7 by 42. Uh, 7, I like 7. I'm too old, hands starting to shake. 7 is stable, gives me pretty much what I want. So 7 to 8, that's my neighborhood. These are actually nice. The Habicht, as I've found it should be pronounced, uh, you can find these. I found it on eBay, and they range generally, these used ones, older models, from as low as $200 up to usually around 700, somewhere in there for supposedly really nice ones. But you know what? The biggest problem I found with this is Swarovski may be great with the glass, but at least on these little poros, I don't know what they did as far as the finish on the metal and the material they used to cover the body, because most of the time you're going to find these things with the metal work, the finish falling off. It's crinkled, it's chipped, it's a mess. In fact, I've had World War II binoculars that went through the war with better finish than a lot of these things. I just don't know why they are as trashed as they are. I managed to get a fairly good one. Um, the outer coating on the tubes, the body, not cracked. And almost all the others, they're cracked, chipped, peeled off. I don't know why they make them that way, but they did. Just so you know, that's what you're going to be running into. You try and get them off of eBay on the cheap. But is it worth it, even one that's chipped? Well, I had to know because I was just curious. These were, as far as Swarovski slash Poros, supposedly the finest thing out there, or one of the finest. So with the cult that's grown around it, I had to check it out. So I picked one up for $250, and here we go. This thing's really light. I like it. I like the weight. This is something I could probably wear all day and not even be bothered. I mean, I wouldn't be worn down in the least. In fact, the first night we took it out to test, Steve, he loved it. He loved it for its lightness and for the central focus. We were pitting it at the time. Really, this was the only serious contender. Was the Asahi Pentax Marine, which I'm sure you guys have seen before, since I've gone on about it being the gold standard for testing 7 by 35s. Well, we were out at night, and I had to walk away saying the Pentax still had the lead. We did the 1951 test target routine, and essentially this managed, 7 power, smaller, it's not a 50 millimeter, but managed group -1, element 1 at 60 yards. It was okay. Did not cross over into element 2. Got out the Asahi Pentax Marines, and I couldn't cross over into 2 either with these, but number 1, element 1, was much sharper, much bolder. This gives you, in my opinion, much better, richer color, greater transparency, and maybe that could be corrected. These appear to have ever so slight haze to them. But while it might look prettier with the haze removed, um, it's not enough to where it would make any real difference. Um, yeah, Pentax Marines still lead the way. Now, what can I say about this Habicht? Uh, in case you want to pick one up, I've heard some bad things about the focusers being heavy. Not heavy. It's moderate. It's not super light and, slick, but then it's going to pretty much stay where you want it to stay unless you go, you know, making love to a tree or something. The diopter, quite typical of a lot of poros. Slightly heavy, and I like that because once I get my setting, I want it to stay, but it's not so heavy that you're moving all over the place when you're trying to get the thing focused in. These are supposedly waterproof, and I will check that out in the summer when I go out into a hot, steamy jungle and see if the inside lenses start to fog up. So, final verdict: I wouldn't expect that even with more modern coatings on new versions of this binocular, that it would up the view enough personally to justify the kind of money they're asking for this old style narrow field Poro. But is it worth it used? In the neighborhood that I'm talking about, I got mine for $250. My personal opinion is, yeah, you'd be well served to find something like this. It's the everyman's Swarovski, or the poor man's Swarovski, because that's not too much for optics as good as this. So yeah, it'd be a good buy, good addition. You'd be able to brag that you have a Swarovski. Of course, financially and all around performance, you could spend $150. If you're not hung up on a name, I have to keep letting you guys know. It's like a mission now. This little Seco Zoom anti-poro is crazy good, and it's $150. I think you might be better served with something like that, unless you just want the class of having a Swarovski Poro. I will give it for me, half a thumb up. And in the summer, I'm going to see if it's worth unsealing it and getting rid of the haze. I might give it a full thumbs up then. But for you guys out there who are interested in collecting, just if you can find one that has good optics still and it's not falling apart on the outside, I think everybody should have one. So get them off of eBay. Clear it up. Leave nothing for the next guy. And that's it. Talk to you later. Bye.